Hello, my name is Chris Hill. I'm the board chair and CEO of SindyXR. I'm very happy to welcome LizWhite, registered dietitian from Pounds Transformation, to SindyXR TV. Welcome,
Hi.
Liz.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to see you here for sure. And I know we want to talk a little bit about this very exciting upcoming Maintain, Don't Gain holiday challenge that you are leading at Pounds Transformation. But before we do that, I'd love to know a little bit, Liz, about your wellness journey and how you sort of got to this chosen profession that you have. I know you went to the University of Connecticut and this became your profession. How did you get there? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, I feel like as a dietitian, people sort of assume that I have always eaten healthy. I kind of like was born this way, when that couldn't be further from the truth. My parents are 70s kids. I grew up on like shake and bake and Kraft mac and cheese. So it was a rough start from the beginning. But I personally had been yo-yo dieting since the age of 9. I've lost weight 7 times, 4 of those times actually being over 50 pounds, but never kind of cracked the code on how to sustain that. It was always being like super restrictive or putting too much emphasis on perfection. It was just a battle that I struggled with from a young age up until adulthood for years and years and years. So that kind of inspired me to pursue a bachelor's degree in nutrition science and dietetics, so I could figure out like what actually works. Is it as complicated as everyone makes it out to be? So that's kind of my journey in how I was able to use not only what I learned at UConn with my degree, but actually living through it for majority of my life, and how to use that information to help people going through similar struggles.
What's interesting, this is something obviously many people, I'd probably say majority of people at some point in their life deal with, whether it's male or female or what have you. But to go from your own personal journey to make it your chosen profession, it's very interesting on that. What are some of the insights, before we get into the unique challenge of holidays, what are some of the insights around wellness, around, as you say, something that could be perceived to be negative, or you can turn it to a positive? What are your sort of approaches when you look to work with some of your patients at Pounds Transformation?
It might sound counterproductive, but I think not trying so hard is the key to success, believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy, but even though I was successful in losing weight all of those times, I put so much pressure on having like the perfect diet, like making meals that looked like they could be on an Instagram post, like having to have everything exactly fall within range. Because of all that pressure, it was kind of putting me into this all or nothing sort of mentality, where as if I didn't reach those super high expectations, I was like, ugh, forget it, and would fall completely off the wagon. Where instead of trying to be all or nothing all the time and aiming for perfection, having expectations set so high, just being happy with shooting somewhere in that scary gray area in the middle. That's where all that long-term progress is going to be. The more sustainable your diet is, the longer you're going to be able to keep up with it. Like if you have to take a look at your baseline diet. If you're someone that doesn't know how to cook, hates cooking, you're probably not going to sustain a meal plan or a diet or anything where you have to cook something from scratch every night. And thinking into like your lifestyle too, it might be easier for someone who's retired or, likes to cook to do that sort of thing. But if you have chronic illnesses, if you have kids, if you work a crazy job in a hospital for 12-hour shifts, you are going to burn yourself out if you keep trying to aim for perfection. So instead, just try to aim for a little bit better. And it's okay to just be a little bit better. because over time, those small changes are going to add up and like create something unsurmountable.
A lot of people go through this, and it can be a lonely journey, particularly if you're surrounded by people that have different conditions, or, whether it's individual pressure or societal pressure. Not everybody reaches out to a registered dietitian like yourself to seek that help. What are some of the benefits of doing that, and what approach do you take somewhat individualize some of the treatment for a patient that comes to you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like anxiety and fear when patients come in for the first time. It breaks my heart a little bit because I promise I'm not that scary, but I totally get it. But as a dietitian, it is quite literally my job not to place any judgment on your diet. I've heard hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people's diets. So at this point, nothing phases me. But it is my job to not make judgments or think negatively based on what people are currently doing in terms of their nutrition. I'm just here to listen and figure out what can we do to work together to make this easier for you, to make your goals seem attainable in a healthy and sustainable way. In terms of like the different approaches I take with patients, at Pounds It All is very individualized. That's why it works. We don't hand out cookie cutter like meal plans and things like that. We look at your blood work, we look at your measurements, what your goals are, and we kind of also take a look at, okay, we might realistically want to lose weight, lower your blood sugar, XYZ, but how are we going to fit that into your lifestyle to make it sustainable? What are your work hours? Are you even sleeping? Are you stressed out of your mind? What can we do to tackle all these separate aspects, which all can, affect our diet? So when people first come in for their appointments, I like to take a look at what their baseline diet is. I don't always find it useful when people come in and say, oh, before I saw you, I started making these crazy changes, because I want to hear what naturally you've been doing for the last X amount of years. I want to know your baseline, because I want to make subtle changes to your baseline diet that are taking steps in the right direction, but not have those changes feel so crazy. Like if you're eating a sandwich every day for lunch and you love sandwiches, I'm probably not going to recommend, swapping that out for a salad, especially if you tell me that you hate salads. Like I'd rather say, okay, well, maybe we switch the brand of your bread to low carb bread. So then it's still a sandwich you're eating. Nothing else is different, but we're making that step to like lower the carbs, manage the blood sugars, just small changes over time. I feel like when the diet mimics what someone naturally is doing, it's going to be something they can keep up with for the rest of their life.
I assume that there are some unique challenges that come along during the holiday season as somebody's trying to stay on your program and has done a very good job maybe through the summer months and into the fall, and then all of a sudden they're out with a lot of, very happily out with family members, friends during the holiday season. What are some of the unique challenges that you see around that time for somebody that's on your program?
I feel like a lot of people go into the holidays, like maybe they were crushing their goals throughout the fall. And then they go into the holidays pretty confident. They tell themselves, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to eat this. It'll be fine. I won't get tempted by XYZ. But in reality, when we're surrounded by all those foods pretty much for like the whole entire month, since it is a month-long holiday in December, pretty much, when they do potentially cave in to something, it then becomes like this feeling of failure. Like I told myself I was going to avoid Christmas cookies, but I had one Christmas cookie, so I'm a failure. So I ruined my progress. I might as well eat 10 Christmas cookies. And I'd say set the expectations lower. Like, I promise you, myself included, there's going to be a little bit more carbs this month. But if we go into that anticipating that, accepting that, and being okay with that, not trying to feel too guilty after that, since it's kind of human nature to want to enjoy these foods with your friends and family, you're going to feel more satisfied just having like one serving it is of, maybe something higher carb or sugary or something like that. So I think, trying to take a step away from that all or nothing mentality, trying not to overcompensate with exercise. I see a lot of people saying, okay, well, I need to burn this off. And then it's kind of trading food as like this pro or con, and then punishing yourself with extra movement that doesn't make your body feel good. Or meal skipping, like, let me skip breakfast and lunch if I'm going to go out to dinner and eat a little bit more carbs there. That never works out well, because then you show up absolutely ravenous and then eating more of those foods that might not be the most nourishing for your body. I'd rather have people still kind of keep up with their healthy, balanced breakfasts and lunches, so then they could go into that third meal like hungry for that meal but not ravenous, maybe have a little bit of holiday foods, but they're not going completely overboard. So kind of just like not trying to overcompensate or change too much from what they were previously doing.
I love how you're setting the expectations for balance and for achievement. So to that end, you're coming into the Maintain, Don't Gain Holiday Challenge, which just even in the name of it suggests the approach that you're taking here. Could you let us know a little bit about what a subscriber to this challenge out of Pounds Transformation, what to expect? What is the flow? What is the program? I think it lasts for about a month. How does it work?
So it's going to begin on Monday, December 2nd to Sunday, December 29th. And kind of like the basis of it is right in the name, trying to take that pressure of we must lose like so much weight before the holidays, to just focus on maintaining, like set the bar lower, because you're going to feel happier and you're going to take more sustainable approaches in how you navigate the holidays. So what to expect from our challenge is we're going to be sending out like a weekly menu for the month. So each week of the month will be a different rotating menu. We have different like fun options on there, like some easy grab and go options for the weekends. If you're doing holiday shopping, I have lots of appointments you got to get done, since a lot of people slam all their doctor's appointments at the end of the year. So more of like those handheld options that you could like drive with or take with you. Some more like seasonal recipes in there. Like one thing that I added is I love like pancakes, especially this time of year. So every Sunday will be like a different protein pancake recipe on Sundays. So pancake Sundays. So like a lot of really fun different recipes. We have a couple of bonus holiday recipes as well. I tried to include like healthier versions of those holiday classics, like stuffing, green bean casserole. I got about 15 different like lower sugar Christmas cookie recipes. So there's really a lot to dig through. We're also including some Facebook Live sessions on different topics. And we're thinking about incorporating a step challenge now as well. So that will be pretty cool to have like a little leaderboard of people's steps to kind of motivate people and challenge each other to get in more movement during a time of year when movement tends to actually be at its lowest.
Excellent. And for those that want to subscribe to sign up for it, they simply go to poundtransformation.com and can go ahead and sign up for it. That sounds great. As just to finish up here, Liz, as I hear you're talking about the program and your history and your journey, your wellness journey to get here, it sounds like you really enjoy what you're doing. What is the most satisfying part of your job?
Other than the fact that I get to talk about food all day long, I think the most satisfying part of my job is being direct, like being able to directly see the progress and improvements people make. One thing I love about Pounds is we're so patient oriented. Like I see some of my patients every week or every other week, and you just establish like a good connection with them. And you really get to see like the huge strides they make, not only in, their lab work or their weight loss, but their relationship with food too. That's something that you don't get to see at a lot of other practices. You might see someone once every 6 months, and then whoop, you see them the next 6 months. You don't really get to see much of like how they're doing. But at Pounds, because we follow up so frequently and are more involved with what the patient's doing, like it's really rewarding to see how they grow over time. It makes my job that much more worth it, and I already love my job.
Well, we can definitely see that Pounds transformation, Dr. Cavo and you and the team. It's very inspiring. We're very privileged to have you as a partner of SindyXR, and I again want to thank you for joining us here on SindyXR TV. Best of luck to you and your patients.
Thank you so much.